Every year, millions of people stand before the United States Capitol and the White House. These buildings are more than just limestone and marble. They are global symbols of democracy, justice, and liberty. But there is a profound paradox etched into the very stones of Washington, D.C. The seat of the land of the free was physically raised from the ground by people who were not free. While history books often credit the founding fathers and European architects for the grandeur of our capital, the true story is much deeper. It is a story of stolen labor, forgotten genius, and the skilled hands of Black Americans who built the stage upon which American history is performed. Today, we're pulling back the veil on the architects of the Capitol, the enslaved men and women whose sweat and skill created a city they weren't legally allowed to call their own. Before the first stone was laid, there was a plan that almost vanished. In 1791, President George Washington appointed Pierre L'Enfant to design the new federal city. But L'Enfant was famously temperamental. After a series of disputes, he resigned and took his detailed maps and site plans with him, leaving the project in total disarray. Enter Benjamin Banneker. Banneker was a self-taught Black polymath, a mathematician, astronomer, and surveyor. He had been hired as part of the surveying team, and he did something that seems almost superhuman today. In just 2 days, Banneker reconstructed L'Enfant's entire city plan from memory. He meticulously redrew the street grids, the parks, and the locations for major government buildings. Without Banneker's photographic memory and mathematical precision, the Washington, D.C. we know today might never have existed. He didn't just survey the land, he saved the blueprint of American power. Once the plans were set, the grueling physical work began. From 1792 to 1800, the construction sites of the Capitol and the White House were teeming with activity. Records from the commissioners of the federal city reveal a hard truth. The government didn't have enough laborers, so they turned to local slaveholders. Enslaved Black men were the backbone of this massive project. They were the ones in the grueling heat of the Aquia Creek Quarry, cutting the massive blocks of sandstone that formed the walls of the White House. They were the carpenters, the bricklayers, and the sawyers. These weren't just unskilled laborers. They were master craftsmen. They operated complex machinery and handled the delicate masonry required for neoclassical architecture. The government's own ledgers prove this. We see records of payments made, not to the workers, but to their owners. For 8 years, these men worked from dawn to dusk, building the halls where laws would eventually be passed to both solidify and, much later, abolish the institution that held them captive. Their influence is literally at the highest point of the city. Look up at the Statue of Freedom standing atop the Capitol dome. When the bronze statue arrived from Italy in 5 pieces, the master founder in charge, a white man, went on strike for higher wages. He was the only one who supposedly knew how to assemble the complex casting. But there was an enslaved laborer named Philip Reid. Reid was a highly skilled molder who figured out the intricate pulley and tackle system needed to separate the sections and cast the bronze. Philip Reid worked 7 days a week for years on that statue. Ironically, by the time freedom was finally hoisted to the top of the dome in 1863, Reid himself had finally gained his legal freedom. The very symbol of the nation's highest ideal was literally put together by a man who spent most of his life as property. For centuries, these contributions were hidden in the shadows of the very buildings they created. But we are finally reclaiming the narrative. To look at the Capitol is to look at the legacy of Benjamin Banneker's mind and Philip Reid's hands. We must recognize that the foundations of this country were built by those who believed in the promise of freedom even when it didn't include them. If this story changed the way you see our national monuments, hit that like button and share this video. We need to make sure these names are never forgotten. Join us in our next episode as we head west to follow the Buffalo Soldiers, the elite Black regiments who became the nation's first park rangers. I'm your narrator, and I'll see you in the next one. E.